Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a long-awaited edition of Chase and Alllen Talks MMA. Yes, it's been a long time. I think the last time we talked about MMA, Anderson Silva was about to break his leg or something against Chris Weidman. I think that was the last time we talked about MMA, Allen.
Jeez, it's been a while. But yes, we're going to be back frequently for all the summer, I'd say so, and then we'll see what happens with the fall. But yeah, definitely next 3 months, there's a lot of stuff to cover, and now we'll be able to chat all summer.
Yeah, we're going to be chatting about the world of MMA, UFC 173 today, Bellator. Yes, we're going to actually talk about that company. They exist. And then we're going to talk about future fights, future matchups, who should fight who, and all that other stuff. But Allen, let's get started with that crazy event known as UFC 173.
Wow. I never put much stock into betting on it because I don't gamble.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like gambling on fights is just so risky. Unless it's like a real true mismatch, I don't know how people do it.
I do it all the time.
God bless you, man. But yeah, it was just crazy because everyone's talking about how Henan Barrow, top 3 pound for pound fighter. Well, hey, which is well justified. Look what he's done.
Yeah.
It's like 7 years or so. But one thing I never knew was like he's not. I wouldn't call him slow, but by bantamweight standards, he is kind of slow in a way. Like I never knew that he like his movements were that's like TJ Dillashaw just made him look so flat-footed, which is ridiculous. And it would be interesting. Not to bring up Uriah Faber because I know a lot of people are kind of tired of Uriah Faber, but it makes you wonder if Uriah Faber didn't fight with a torn hamstring at 169, would he have beaten Burrell? That's another can of worms.
Yeah, the thing was about this fight, like I knew TJ was going to cause a little bit of problems for Burrell, and I said, well, Burrell, I didn't know if TJ Dillashaw had really that big of a chin, and also I don't think TJ Dillashaw's ground game is as great as Joe Rogan will make it out to be. So I figured that like TJ Dillashaw would slip up in the first 2 rounds, and Burrell was going to win this fight. But I said if this went to the 3rd round, Burrell's done because this guy is just like Jose Aldo. They train and fight the same way. They ride their motorcycles. They get into accidents. They
leg kicks.
Yeah,
they love the leg kicks.
Yeah, the leg kicks. They do the same exact thing. Him and Jose Aldo. So you've seen Jose Aldo when he reaches like the 3rd round. He's like a freaking zombie out there. The guy doesn't move like Jose Aldo normally moves. Like, yeah, he will pull off one good move during the fight, but he just doesn't move as well. And that was the thing about Henan Barrow. Like, he got to that 3rd round, and he was done. There was no way he was going to beat TJ Dillashaw or even knock him out in that 3rd round. And
his best round was the 2nd round. And that was, like, somewhat decent. I still gave that round to TJ.
Yeah, that was his best round because the problem with Barrow is, like you said, he was flat-footed. And when you're flat-footed like that and you're trying to throw power punches, you're just going to get tired. You're not going to have too much power because you're just focusing all your power onto the upper body. Your lower body is just standing there. So your upper body is going to be doing all the work, and then your arms get tired. That's what hurts Barrow. Him and Jose, they need to find a way to up their cardio because these two, they look too damn athletic and too freakish to get tired during the 3rd, 4th, or 5th rounds. Man, it was just sad seeing Burrell get his ass kicked like that in the 4th round, man. Like, and then in the 5th round, oh my god, I felt bad for that dude. I was just like, no moss, man, you done. I felt bad for him.
Well, he's already fun to speak. Like, I consider Eddie Wineland to be a fair share. The difference is Wineland's defense is just a lot of times non-existent. He relies too much on his head. He doesn't really. He doesn't put his hands up, which is why he got knocked out, I think, last month to some nobody named Johnny Eduardo. I was like, wow, pretty crazy. But I did not expect the speed to be that much different. That blew my mind. And, once again, hats off to TJ Dillashaw. But interesting week fights next. It's gonna be a rematch regardless. He'll either face Barrow or Sunsao.
Yeah, honestly, I hope it's not Barrow. I hope it's a Sunsao because Assunção won in a really like split decision fight, right? He won in split decision against TJ.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so it was a split decision. So that fight right there, I would say I would go with that fight more than Barrow. Let Barrow go fight someone else. Maybe give us Barrow versus Cruz because or is Dominic Cruz retired? Did he just give up? He's now just UFC tonight.
I just maybe fight Mizugaki.
Yeah, Mizugaki, who also fought on this card, and he fought Francisco Rivera. So
it's just I feel like rematches for champions. If you want to do a rematch of a championship fight, the only way you can justify is if it's really close. Like I understood why they did Benson versus Frankie Edgar again.
Yeah.
But this was just so one-sided. And it's not like Burrell had like this dominant run. Like, yeah, he was undefeated, but a lot of those fights weren't in the UFC. Like, his title reign was essentially Faber twice, and Eddie Wineland and Michael McDonald.
Yeah, and that was during the interim title time. Like that was during the time when there was just an interim championship. Like what his first like real UFC bantamweight title win was against Uriah.
Yeah, it was Faber.
Yeah, so because Dominic Cruz got hurt, so really he only had one title defense to him. Yeah, he dominated his division, but I agree he doesn't like deserve it. It's not like with Anderson when Anderson was just dicking around with Weidman the first fight and he got knocked out, and everyone's like, okay, if Anderson was serious, he could have beaten Weidman. So that's why that fight happened. It's not like what you said with Frankie and Benson because Benson, arguably in the first Frankie fight, he didn't win. You can make that argument that Benson did not win that fight, so it's okay for Frankie to get an automatic rematch there. Same with BJ Penn. When Frankie beat BJ Penn the first time, I'll tell you right now, I won money off that fight, but I shouldn't have won money off that fight because BJ Penn beat Frankie Edgar at UFC. I want to say it was the same card where Silva dicked around with Maya. I can't remember the number. 112. Invincible. I believe that was the title. Remember when UFC used to give the titles to their pay-per-views?
You love that. I liked it too, but they don't want to do it to whatever. They got so many shows now. It's like, what the hell are they gonna do? Like, they gotta go through like each adjective of the dictionary at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, like UFC Invincible 112, and BJ Penn did not lose to Frankie Edgar that fight, but then the second fight he came out and he just didn't give a crap. But yeah, they're gonna have a third fight. We'll be talking about that. But yeah, TJ Dillashaw, he did really good. And Team Alpha Male, after like 5 attempts of trying to get a UFC title in their gym, they finally got one.
Benavidez twice, Faber. Oh, Faber, I can't even count how
many. Faber, 3 times. 3 times for Faber.
So, and Mendez won, so that's
6 times trying to get the title to Team Alpha Male. And TJ Dillashaw did it. Now, here's the question. Everyone's wondering about Uriah Faber. What's Uriah Faber going to do? Because obviously 145 is out of the question. He does not want to face Jose Aldo again. He can't cut to 125. He's too big for that. And Benavidez is like their 125 guy. Would he want to fight TJ Dillashaw? Because Dwayne Ludwig, he's moving to Colorado soon. Maybe TJ Dillashaw goes there, and maybe Faber wants to fight against TJ Dillashaw. I mean, Faber has shown that he doesn't care if he fights his friends.
It'll be fun speculating. We'll be speculating this for the next few months. I couldn't give you an accurate answer. Who knows? But I know Ludwig and Faber aren't on the best of terms. Like, they've spoken publicly that, they're not really buddies anymore. So it could happen. Look what Dillashaw. I remember he was on the Ultimate Fighter season, I think, with Bisping and Mayhem.
Yeah.
He was mostly a wrestler. I mean, remember, he got knocked out by John Dodson, which is pretty funny. So just how he's evolved as a striker is just crazy. I remember watching that fight, I think it was against Mike Easton. He just picked apart Mike Easton. I'm not saying Mike Easton's some world beater, but he put on like a kickboxing exhibition. It was pretty sick. So you could tell Ludwig.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah, so, because, like, you would think if you're TJ Dillashaw, you won the title, and yes, you would like to stay in Team Alpha Male, but if you're having success with a certain coach like Dwayne Ludwig, I would figure he would want to make the move to Colorado with Dwayne Ludwig, because Ludwig is not going to be there for the Mendez fight, right? Or is he done after this fight? Was this his last fight with Alpha Male?
Yeah, this was his last fight.
Okay. I was trying to make sure which one was his last fight or not. So, yeah, so, like, if you're TJ Dillashaw, I would say you should move with Dwayne Ludwig. I mean, as much as the Alpha Male guys are happy you won a title with them and stuff like that, I would just say screw the Alpha Male guys. I want to train with the coach that took me to the dance. So, if I was TJ Dillashaw, I would just leave Team Alpha Male. And personally, I would like to see Faber fight TJ Dillashaw. I think it would be a good matchup, too, because I don't know how long do you think TJ Dillashaw is going to be as champion? Do you think he's going to lose to a Sound Sao again, or do you think that he's going to have at least 2 or 3 title defenses?
It's so hard to judge because it's just that one. He hasn't been really spotlighted. Like, remember, he was thrown into a fight with Burrell.
Yeah, who was Burrell supposed to face before? Who was he supposed to face before? I forgot.
He wasn't even supposed to fight in that event, I don't think, because.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. There's some.
Yeah, Weidman Machida.
Yeah, Weidman.
Oh, actually, Weidman and Vitor, but then TRT got banned and Vitor got upset, and then Machida got the fight, and then Weidman got injured, and now Weidman's fighting at 175.
I know that card became such a cluster because remember Stipe, Miocic, and Junior.
Yes.
The co-main event.
And
And then
now
that got ruined.
and now it's not even happening anymore. Miocic is fighting like who again? Who's he fighting again?
No, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I feel bad for him because JDS versus him was going to be was a fight that I was looking forward to. Yeah, but congrats to TJ Dillashaw. I mean, you did something that most wrestling fans wish they could get. You got a response from CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk came from his retirement and tweeted you, man. So you obviously did something right in this world, TJ Dillashaw. All right, let's talk about DC destroying my favorite Dan Henderson. Oh my God, Daniel Cormier just destroyed Dan Henderson.
This is a mismatch. So look, props to DC. What he's doing right now is basically what he's supposed to do. You look at his fights in the UFC; they've been all been mismatches. You got him, the Starbucks guy, Patrick Cummins. I had to throw that line in. Roy Nelson, Frank Mir. Like these, in a way, were mismatches. Cummins obviously he doesn't have that one big attribute, but obviously with Henderson, Nelson's the big right hand. Obviously with Mir, it's the jiu-jitsu on the ground. Cormier has avoided all of that and was just dominated. The only fight that he's had was pretty much against Barnett. The only fight that was considered like a war.
Yeah, that was his only tough fight, and he did well in that fight too. This fight right here, Henderson. Don't go down to 185. I appreciate what you were trying to do by sending Daniel Cormier to chicken. I thought that was fucking hilarious. That was the funniest story I've read. That he sent Daniel Cormier Popeye's chicken. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh my God, that I respected Hendo for that. But it just shows, man. Dan Henderson without the TRT, he's nothing right now. He can't fight at the level anymore. And he's a legendary fighter. Don't ruin your career, man. Don't try to ruin your career by fighting some more. I mean, you're not going to do anything in 185. Let's face it. You go down to 185. Let's just say Anderson Silva comes back. What is Dana going to do? He might give you Anderson Silva. Do you really want to fight Anderson Silva again? No.
Franklin maybe too.
Yeah, you might have to face Franklin again. Rich Franklin's too busy doing TEDx talks. He doesn't need to fight you again. So, in all honesty,
whatever. Fans still love him. That's one thing. He got, I think, the biggest reaction that night. Fans still love him. If he still wants a paycheck, people will pay. I don't know if people will pay to see him, but they sure will watch him. I think that fight with Shogun, a lot of people care for. But this was such a mismatch. And then he weighs in at 199. I'm just, this is going to be bad. This is just going to be awful. And then Cormier freaking slams him. Like, if Cormier didn't do that slam to Barnett, that would have been like I would have went crazy. But when he did to Henderson, I just shrugged my shoulders.
It was just sad because Henderson was way underweight for that fight. But I just think Hendo should retire. I don't know who else you could fight. I mean, he's done all the little dream fights that we wanted to see. I don't know what else we could see from Dan Henderson. I mean, there's no fights that really interest me with a Dan Henderson right at this moment.
Because people will talk about how this was kind of number one contender. But at the end of the day, he had no business being there. Just the light heavyweight division is so depleted, and I noticed this thing with the UFC where they kind of don't want to put contenders against contenders. Like if they really want to avoid Cormier facing Anthony Johnson because they just want to keep guys. You notice that, right? They kind of want to keep guys.
Yeah, they want to keep guys fresh because the light heavyweight division at one point was like arguably the best division in the UFC. I mean, you had Forrest Griffin, Rampage, Tito. You had a bunch of really big names. Rashad Evans, like Chuck Liddell, like Wanderlei was fighting at 205. You had a bunch of people that a lot of favorite fighters came from the light heavyweight division. Nowadays, the light heavyweight division is just like John Jones, Gustafsson, freaking what's his DC, and Anthony Rumble Johnson all of a sudden, and Bill Davis if he ever gets better. That's it. That's like your light heavyweight division. Like
Rashad. Well, we'll see what happens with Rashad if he gets healthy. But.
Yeah, man, he's doing UFC tonight. Let him and Dominic Cruz and Chael Sonnen just focus on that. They seem to like to do that more than actually fight. See, Kenny Florian got it right. He already said he was retired, and then he went to UFC today. So
torn ACL is a really significant injury. Rashad.
Yeah.
I don't know when the hell Rashad will come back, but it's it's not like. Then I get Rashad is kind of injury prone fighter. You can see him pull out fights in the past, but what are you gonna do? I am a Sugar. I love Sugar. So
yeah.
But anyway, and then at the end of the day, this fight was a mismatch on paper, and who could be surprised by this? I feel bad for Cormier. I wish he was more in compelling fights. But.
Yeah, exactly. None of his UFC fights have been like fights to remember. Maybe the Cummings fight because it was just hilarious seeing Cummings talk shit and then he beat the crap out of him. But other than that, none of his fights have been entertaining. Now, what should DC do, Allyn? Should he take one more fight or should he wait? Because honestly, we all know John Jones. John Jones likes to wait it out. John Jones, let's face it, John Jones is probably ducking Gustafsson because Gustafsson is the one that gave him the most trouble. And if you're a champion, and Floyd Mayweather knows this, and all great champions knows this, if someone gives you trouble, you don't want to fight them so soon. So do you think John Jones right now, he's going to try to push back the Gustafsson fight because he doesn't want to fight in Sweden against Alexander?
Oh, well, I guess you didn't hear the announcement, but the big announcement right now is that it's supposed to be 177 late August, Jones Gustafsson 2 in Vegas. That's
Okay.
Fertitta told, I think, Akamoto on ESPN or some shit. But basically, that fight was up. Gustafsson agreed to it, but Jones has yet to respond to it. So who knows? Maybe that could be a bit of a sign. But what they're hoping for is basically that Jones fights in August, and if he wins, he'll probably face DC. Maybe that Super Bowl show. That would be pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. So DC wouldn't be waiting too long.
Well, he's not fighting for the rest of the year, though. That's one thing.
Yeah, I know, but he wouldn't be waiting too long if that was a plan, like to get Jones fighting in August and then fighting on the Super Bowl show. Because
I want to see him face Rumble, though. That's just the fan in me, though. Like I can understand why Cormier, and looking at the big picture, why he doesn't want to fight again. He's done more than enough. I don't care if he's only won 2 fights a lot. I mean, we look at the heavyweight resume, that's good enough for me. But the family, I was like, man, him against Anthony Johnson, that's a true number 1 contender fight. As long as Anthony Johnson beats Lil Nog, but then again, who knows if Lil Nog even fights, knowing his track record. But basically, Rumble's supposed to be fighting Lil Nog in July.
Wait, who Rumble's facing Little Nog?
Yeah, in July on Fox.
Oh God, is that the main event?
No, main event is Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown.
Oh, okay, that's good. I was gonna say I wouldn't watch that. Could you imagine the Fox promos? Little Nog, Rumble, Fox. It would just be so. That would be so boring. I'd be like, huh? Yeah, it'd be TNA status. I'm not gonna lie. I would not watch that card. I would just be like, you have to have a good undercard for me to watch it. Anthony Rumble Johnson and freaking.
Who knows if Nogueira even fights? I'm so over him because it's like this guy gets hurt almost every time.
Little Nogueira has just been such a disappointment. They were hyping him up so bad back in 2000 and freaking 10, and they were like, "Oh, Little Nog is here, man! Little Nog is coming to the UFC," and he's just been such a disappointment, man.
And what's also sad? Like his biggest win was against Rashad in that horrible fight. I think it was Super Bowl weekend. They're gonna hype that up, saying, "Oh, he beat Rashad Evans," and what highlights are they gonna use for this? What are they even gonna say? What were the highlights in that fight? Nothing.
Didn't he also beat Tito? I'm trying to remember if Little Nog beat Tito.
He did beat Tito by punches to the body.
Yeah, so he has those for the face to pain highlights. So when they play face to pain like they normally do, they'll show him punching Tito's stomach.
I don't think they do face to pain on Fox.
Oh yeah, they don't do
face.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they do the football theme, and they don't even do the opening for the Fox shows.
Yeah, that's for the better.
Yeah, that's for the pay-per-views. They use face to pain for the pay-per-views. I forgot. All right, let's move on from the light heavyweights and talk about the welterweight division because that's actually interesting. The welterweight division has gotten a huge facelift since GSP has left, and Robbie Lawler destroys Jake Ellenberger, and really Jake Ellenberger has just disappeared. What happened to the Jake Ellenberger that I used to know, man? What happened to that Jake Ellenberger that used to fight? Robbie Lawler just picked this dude apart, man. I'm sorry.
I was surprised by it. I really thought, the short layoff or however context you want to put it for Lawler, he basically fought a 5-round war against Hendricks. Granted, he didn't take that much damage in the fight, but I was concerned. It's man, how can you come back from such a 5-round battle to fight 2 months later against a guy who, say what you want about Belfort, but he's a comparable opponent.
He has knockout power.
Lopsided matchup by no means.
Yeah, no, this guy has knockout power. Jake Ellenberger can fuck up your career. I'm just wondering what happened to the Jake Ellenberger that used to just knee people in the face and just didn't give a crap. I'm missing that Jake Ellenberger, not this new one that likes to run away backwards. Who's his new trainer or something?
He's trained now with Edmund, who is Ronda's training. He doesn't really go to King's MMA and that's with Rafael Cordero. That's a guy who made Fabricio Verdum into this pretty dynamic striker. So now I think he's just people hype up Edmund because obviously the whole Ronda Rousey link, but just based on what I hear from Edmund, he focuses too much on boxing. Like, you notice with that fight, I think Ellenberger threw 2 kicks, and now granted, Ellenberger doesn't throw many kicks to begin with, but against a guy like Robbie, you
have to be more versatile. You can't just be flat-footed.
Exactly. That's why Hendricks struggles so much. Hendricks, he won that fight based on just sheer will, pretty much.
Yeah, and he won based off that one takedown. I was so upset when that takedown hit because I was rooting for Robbie Lawler to win that fight, but then that takedown hit, I was like, no, Robbie, no.
Looked at the screen, he's like, damn it.
Yeah, you heard Robbie Lawler with his frustrations during that fight, but yeah, no, Robbie Lawler is just too good, and also if you're going to Edmonds, you're like Ronda's trainer. God damn, man, why are you going there for anything else but jiu-jitsu? I mean, striking, he's not going to teach you anything well about striking. I watched that Ultimate Fighter season, and I'm pretty sure most of the girls that went to Ronda's camp, they weren't really that dynamic of strikers at the end of the day. So,
we'll see what Ellenberger's rolls, but man, just once again, just shows you how just the rejuvenation of Robbie Lawler, just how good this guy is. I always, Robbie Lawler, always respectable, always a fan favorite, but since that Rory fight, he's really shown that he's an elite fighter. He's a top 3 guy, and he has the chance to fight for the title again if he gets past Matt Brown. It's we look at Jake Ellenberger's career. You look at his losses. He lost to Condit early on in his career, which is, I don't know, I thought he kind of won that fight. I think he lost to Martin Kampman, which he just got caught what he can do. And then the Rory fight, that was just his fault. So he's never really been dominated like that. This was the first time we really see him get dominated.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing also with the Robbie Lawler thing is, like, Robbie Lawler, like, people forget, this guy was wrestling when UFC was in their 30s. Like, before UFC hit the 3 digits, UFC was in, like, UFC 38. So Robbie Lawler's been in the MMA game for the longest time. And the thing about Robbie Lawler is, I'm excited for that Matt Brown fight because here are 2 guys that, got second chances. It's a great story. I mean, 2 guys who got second chances in life, and now they're going to fight for an opportunity to face off against possibly Johnny Hendricks. Screw you, Tyron Woodley and fucking Aries, piece of crap. That's boring as hell. Isn't that his nickname, Aries?
I don't know. Hawani tries to push the Canadian Psycho thing. I don't see it personally, so I guess we'll call him Aries.
But that's his nickname, right? Rory Aries McDonald?
Yeah, call him Aries. Usually just people call him Rory. I never heard someone actually call him Aries. So I just struggle with that.
He's just so boring. I just don't care for it. Like, he's like GSP 2.0, but at least GSP has funny moments. Like, GSP has, like, I'm not impressed with your performance. Please, Dana, give me one more title shot. Like, GSP at least, I swear, I think the funniest moment, though, of GSP's career was recently when Johnny Hendrick, like, Dana says at the press conference, he's like, GSP went to the hospital, he's not going to be here. All of a sudden, here comes GSP in this nice-ass suit with a mushed-up face. He's like, hi, I'm here at the press conference.
Yeah, I feel like Rashad Evans, like, patting him on the back.
Yeah,
like, yeah, what the hell? But anyway, yeah, just look at Jake Ellenberger's career. It's just, that was the first time he's really just been outclassed. And Robbie was hitting with that high kick. And even when Jake landed those 2 takedowns, it was like for 10 seconds he had control.
Yeah, no,
that laughing. The guy was laughing.
Yeah, dude, the thing about Robbie Lawler also is that he's improved on his takedown defense, because that was one thing that he was struggling against when he fought Jake Shields, was that when Jake Shields would just take him down. That was the problem. Like, that's why he could never beat Jake Shields in Strikeforce, was because Jake Shields would just take him down and just grind him out for the whole fight. And
did that happen against what's his name, Tim Kennedy too?
Yeah, that happened against Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy did the same exact shit to Robbie Lawler. So he's worked really, really hard on his wrestling defense. That's what, like, look at the Hendricks fight. Hendricks was not able to do any wrestling on Robbie Lawler. Like, that's one thing that I'll give credit to Robbie Lawler is he's improved so much of defending the takedown, and not only that, when he gets on his back, getting up as quick as he can, and he's worked so well on his guards. So that's one thing I have to give credit to Robbie Lawler, is because if you watch some of his Strikeforce stuff, you wouldn't believe like he always had good stand-up, but he never had good ground defense until this new resurgence in the UFC. That's also another reason why he beat Rory McDonald, because McDonald could not freaking take his ass down. Like, Aries was all like, oh, I can't take him down. I have to actually strike. Huh?
Remember the Koscheck fight? Koscheck was going for a takedown at will, and Robbie just stuffed it.
Yeah.
Punched and was over.
Yeah, because like, he knew, like, hey, I got to stop these takedowns if I'm going to be good in the UFC. And hell, he did it. And that's why he's in the UFC. And Jake Shields is like, I don't know, chilling with Nick Diaz, getting drunk on the weekends.
I don't know. He's a vegan. He seems very strict, but
I don't know what he's doing nowadays. I have to go up there and check on him.
it's crazy that Shields is gone. Yet guys like Koscheck and Mark Hart still in the UFC. It's like Mark Hart and Woodley. They haven't looked good in years.
Dude,
once again, it's kind of like the whole tough thing with Dana and just favoritism, which is kind of lame.
Well, what's weird about Mark Hart is because Dana used to hate Mark Hart with a burning passion.
Yeah.
He used to say, like, this guy will never fucking fight in the UFC ever again. And now all of a sudden he's like one of his buddies again. Wasn't Ellenberg, he was supposed to fight that Safadine kid, right?
Tariq Safadine, yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight him. I like that guy. I like that guy a lot. I don't know if he's like a future welterweight champion, but I do like him. Huh?
He hasn't fought enough top guys. I need to see more. I think he's fought Woodley. He lost to Woodley in Strikeforce. I know he beat Mark Hart. Trying to think who else he hasn't fought a lot of top guys, so it's really hard to rate the guy.
Yeah, like he's pretty solid. He definitely has like that cool name factor. Like you can imagine you would order a UFC with like Safadine versus Hendricks. You'd be like,
yeah, he's the only Belgian fighter.
Yeah, he's the real Belgian brute. Oh no, Alexander Rusev is the Bulgarian brute.
Oh.
I forgot. I thought he was Belgium, but yeah, no. Safadine, like that guy, he has potential, and I really want to see what he was going to do. Hopefully, this guy can stop getting injured because that's the one thing hurting his career is that he's just been getting injured. Other fights.
Fight Bobby Lawler actually last July in that Seattle card. He was supposed to fight Bobby Lawler, but then he got hurt, and then that's why Bobby Volker had to fight Lawler, and that match was just complete mismatch.
Yeah, no, like that guy has been injured. Like the only fight that he fought was like Hun Kim, right? Yeah, no, it wasn't Hun Kim.
Not to confuse with Don Hun Kim.
Yeah, it was a different Hun Kim, not to confuse with the Dawn, just regular Hun Kim.
Any other highlights from 123 before we move over?
No, like Francisco Rivera and Mizugaki was a fun bantamweight match, and LOL, Jamie Varner got hurt.
Yeah, poor man. Just I don't know how the ref did not stop that. Like, whoa, this guy's he's like hobbling. When you see a fighter fall from no contact, it's like clearly something is wrong. What are you doing?
Yeah, and I love Dana. Like, this guy was so no, he said this kid is so fucking tough. I'm like, Dana, Jamie Varner's probably the same age as you, dog. He's not a kid.
He's gray in his beard. Like, I don't know.
I just love when he calls people kid. All right, so UFC 173 in the books. It was a decent show, I would say, but definitely watch the main event for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. It's probably one of the best performances by a challenger against a champion, and it's a great UFC moment. Like, here's a guy like in TJ Dillashaw who had no freaking chance against Renan Barão by most people. Like, the only people rooting for TJ Dillashaw and thought that he was going to win was TJ Dillashaw's parents, the people who work at Chuck E. Cheese,
Alpha Male,
Team Alpha Male, Dwayne Ludwig, and who else?
Tommy Toehold.
Tommy Toehold, yes. Tommy Toehold believed in TJ Dillashaw. So those were the only 5 people that were rooting for, that thought TJ Dillashaw would win this fight. So, hey, man, he did it, and it's a great, great moment in the UFC. I love when everyone storms the cage and they just, like, have a moment of, like, him just celebrating like a madman and everyone's, like, lifting him up like Rocky Balboa just beat Ivan Drago or something. I'm like, God damn, what a moment.
It was incredible, man. It was incredible. Speaking of incredible things, man, can we get to the comedic stuff that we have to cover?
Oh, yeah. Bellator. If you did not watch the Bellator pay-per-view, it was probably one of the funniest UFC MMA events you will ever see in your life. It was pretty fucking bad, dog. I'm not going to lie. I watched the whole fight.
Wait, Tommy, did you see... Now, I'm not talking about the prelim action itself, but did you see King Mo go on like an escapade on live television?
No, I did not see that.
Basically, I don't know. They go backstage. I'm not sure if it was Frank Shamrock. It was somebody. They were just, or maybe it was Jimmy Smith. They were basically talking to King Mo, and basically King Mo on television calls Bjorn Rebney a dick rider, which is just like, what are you doing? And they were saying we got to cut to commercial once he said that. And they come back, and they put the mic back on Mo, and I'm just like, what is going on?
Man, dude, TNA's writing crew must have done a really good job with that segment.
Like, dude, all right, I understand you want to cut it because King Mo clearly said something that was inappropriate, and it just looks so bad for that promotion. Then they let him talk again, and he's still like criticizing him. He's
He called Bjorn a dick rider after the fight against Rampage. It was probably one of the funniest post-fight press conferences. Not post-fight. Post-fight, like when they're in the cage and stuff like that. One of the funniest. I mean, here you have Rampage win in a boring-ass fight where you could argue that King Mo won that fight, which I had King Mo winning that fight 29-28. 98%
of people in the world had King Mo.
Yeah, I had King Mo winning that fight. And, Rampage all of a sudden, goes, yeah, man, dude, I feel like I didn't win that fight, man. I mean, I did win that fight, but I wanted to knock his ass out, so I want a rematch. You guys want to see the rematch? You guys want to see the rematch? And he's asking for a rematch. Why are you asking for a rematch if you just beat this dude? I mean, you beat Lyoto Machida controversially, Rampage. You obviously have no problem winning controversial fights to get a title fight. And so Rampage pretty much was asking for a rematch, and it was so funny. They were just talking shit afterwards. King Mo gets on the microphone. He's like, man, Bjorn just a dick rider. Don't bomb me, Bjorn, man. Don't cut me or shit, man. You know I like to freaking fight, dog. I'm just saying, dude. I won that fight. It was just so black. It was.
Could you imagine somebody calling Dana White a dick rider?
Oh, dude, Dana White would be like, "You're fucking fired." Like, you'd be gone from the UFC. Like, you wouldn't even show up at the post-fight press conference. Like, right when you get backstage, you're just being dragged out of the arena.
Yeah, God. Like, you'll get dragged up by Lorenzo Fertitta and his freaking massive arms. Like, Lorenzo would do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And,
like, Bjorn, I feel like he gets a little bit of a bad reputation. Like, I listen to some of his interviews. He's not that bad of a person, but he just has no control. It's like you can't have your own fighters doing that. And, and then again, you can't give fighters the perception that you're, quote-unquote dick riding. Like, there was one press conference people were talking about. I didn't see a lot, but, like, Bellator does their tournament system, which is kind of just, no one really cares. But
I hate it so much, man. I hate that tournament system.
Well, we'll get into it. But basically, Rampage beat that Moplumbo guy, however you say his name, and King Mo beat Zayats or whatever. But the thing is, Rampage won in about 20 seconds, while Mo won like a 3-round decision against Zayats, which wasn't really impressive. So basically, that press conference, Bjorn was all happy talking about Rampage, while when Mo questions were up, he was just kind of like, he looked disinterested. And that's when like the media started saying like, man, look, Rampage seems to be his guy while Mo's becoming an afterthought, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I think maybe, because Mo listens to writers, like he's actually pretty educated. Right?
Yeah, no, Mo's not a dumb person. He's smart.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's how he got the whole Dick Ryan perception from him because, well, let's face it, man, Rampage, yes, he's past his prime, but he still could draw, He's still
like, people know who Rampage Jackson is. People are like, like they know the howl and all that crap, man. Rampage is still a very good casual viewer. Like, anyone will be like, oh, I like Quentin Rampage Jackson. I mean, hell, you're popular when you go by your nickname. Like, no one calls you Quentin. Everyone calls you Rampage. Everyone thinks your first name is Rampage.
Yeah, same thing with Shogun.
Yeah, like, no one calls him Mauricio.
Exactly.
It's Shogun Hua. Well, some fighters they can be great with with Anderson Silva, most people say Anderson Does Spider. Like they have to say his full name, like Anderson Does Spider Silva.
But does anyone say George Rush St. Pierre?
No, people just kind of say GSP, which is kind of like simple enough to say.
Exactly.
Do you think we're gonna start calling Johnny Hendricks Big Rig? Like we're gonna be like, oh, Big Rig.
That's a cool name, but no, I don't think
that sounds like a sex name, man. I'm sorry. Oh man, I can't wait to watch that Big Rig fight. What? Big Rig? Ugh.
Yeah, Rampage Mo, like I said, I didn't have much expectations for it because I basically tweeted something out saying if it was 2010, 2011 when I think Mo was the Strikeforce champion at the time and Rampage was still contending. And I think their rivalry or their feud or whatever, that was when it was really heated. That's when, Rampage was going around saying Queen Ho, all that shit.
Yeah.
Once that video came out, I think it was 2012 when they did it, like that 10-minute interview, Squash and Beef. That killed everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they were friends and Batista was on the show with them and all that other stuff. And King Mo asked Batista to show him how to do a chair shot. And King Mo then afterwards went to TNA. Like, maybe they should settle this on Impact Wrestling. We should have Bobby Roode and Quentin Rampage Jackson versus James Storm and King Mo.
There you go, man.
The tag team match of the century.
I hear the mint money printing out right there. But another thing, I was just saying about the rivalry. The whole back to that tournament thing with basically Rampage won his fight, Mo won his fight. I assume you saw that brawl last February, or where they were Rampage screaming, "I'm the man of Bellator. I took your spot." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I did. It looked kind of bad. But
so that's another thing that killed it. Like this, like what they did, Rampage and King Mo, like their build up was just so disinteresting. Just it looks so basically work for wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I actually said something to this guy Mark Ramoli, who works for Fox, and told him, I was like, the CM Punk Triple H feud had more legitimacy than this shit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like the thing about Rampage and King Mo is like they're entertainers. Like that's the thing about Rampage and King Mo. That's what Rampage. The reason why he gets so much pay-per-view draws is because he's an entertainer. He can entertain the fans on the microphone and everything like that. And same with King Mo. And the thing was, it just felt like Bellator, and it's Viacom, so I know Viacom likes to do stupid shit. Hell, they're still funding TNA for fuck's sakes. They probably wanted this to be some extravagant storyline, man. I mean, look at how they fucking introduced Tito Ortiz to fucking Bellator. Like, they had a Rampage stand in the middle of the ring like it was some wrestling promo. Rampage was cutting a promo, and then all of a sudden, Tito Ortiz comes out like he's the fucking Undertaker with the dark lights and American flag and everything. And I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? Am I watching WWE or fucking MMA, man? Like, get the hell out of here. I mean,
when do you ever see the UFC do that? I'm not trying to say Bellator should do everything the UFC is doing, but like, still, that looks so pro wrestling. When the UFC debuts to it, the guys, kind of in the crowd,
Yeah, they would show the guy in the crowd, and he would just do like the little thumbs up, like Mike Goldberg would be like, and there is Chuck Liddell, and then later on Chuck Liddell would do this, or you have them where they do the interviews like before or during the pay-per-view or during the prelims, like, how excited are you for this upcoming fight against Misha Tate? Like that type of deal. Like you do that. You don't freaking like do it where like they're standing in the cage and they freaking like come out to their entrance music. Like what the and pyro and shit. Like come on, man. Like I'm all down for the whole where the champion wins the fight and then they bring the challenger inside the cage. That's fine. Because that just builds up the anticipation. Like, oh, this is your next opponent. Do a quick little stare down with him. That just brings up the anticipation for, the future. But the shit that Bellator does sometimes, man, it just feels so fake, Like, like, the action in the cage is real, but, like, the stuff before the cage, like, it just feels so fucking fake.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good segue because I want to, we'll talk about the positives of Bellator soon, involving their lightweight division, which is very good. But since you bring up, how things look fake in the work, I gotta admit, look, I don't want to speculate. I hate having to worry about this, but to me, the ending of the whole Tito Ortiz, Alexander Shlemenko, like when Tito had his back and like there was like a 5-second pulse, and I just saw like his mouth moving near his ear. Like I don't like conspiracy theories. I hate believing all that shit, but oh man, it just looks so worked. I don't know. And then Shlemenko, people are saying like, oh, Tito has the weight advantage. Yeah, but Shlemenko's had, I think, 58 pro fights. Like, how does he get submitted that easily?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, like you said, that fight did look fucking fake, man. That fight did look fucking fake. Because, like, I didn't see it. I got to watch that fight again where you said he looked like he was, like, whispering in his ear. But it did look fake that, like, Tito fucking easily took this dude down like it was nothing and then choked him out like it was simple. Like, I didn't know I was watching Ryan Bader versus Tito again.
If you watch, like, the positioning of it, like, he takes his back and then, like, I don't know, Shlemenko tries to turn around because I don't think he wants to get a rear naked choke. But then, like, there's, like, no reaction to him getting, I think he got choked up by, like, an arm triangle. And he wasn't reacting. And I'm just like, this guy isn't that down the ground. I think it was the second time ever he got submitted. Look, I don't care about the whole weight thing. And then his technique and how bad that was. Like this guy's, this is 58th pro fight. This guy's like he fights almost like every 3 months because he has a kid over that Shlemenko's thing. Like he brings his kid around every. But it just it was just so weak. And then Tito's promo at the end. I know you were jumping up.
It was beautiful, man. It was like something like what Hulk Hogan was saying. You know what, brother? The Tito Mania is back, dude. I'm gonna go win that light heavyweight title, dude. And I'm going to go down and face Rampage Jackson. And we're going to give the fight to all the Bellator fans want to see, brother. So what you gonna do when Tito Mania runs wild on you? It was amazing. That's what I heard, but I'm pretty sure most fans heard, yeah, I see you. You see me, I won fights, and I'm going to win more fights. And there was just some mumble jumble that Tito normally says.
UFC Hall of Fame, take me out now.
Oh God. Well, what is Tito? What the fuck? Okay, let me just.
Why you want to mention them?
Like, yeah, stop, man. It's like, holy fucking crap, man. You guys aren't professional wrestling. It's fine in professional wrestling because professional wrestling is a work. It's fine when WCW mentions WWF. It's fine when TNA mentions WWE. That's fine because it's a work. But you guys are legit business. That's like the NFL fucking being like, CFL, try to touch us. Or like the CFL to get viewers. They talk about how the NFL gets most of their talents because of them and all this other crap. And they just try to talk about how crappy the NFL is compared to the CFL. It's like the NBA EuroLeague fucking talking shit about the NBA. Like, no, like I wouldn't want to watch a trash ass company like that. I mean, you guys were legit business. Stop mentioning the UFC, man. You're in the UFC Hall of Fame, Tito. You did a lot to earn that spot. Fucking be happy. Just shut up. Be grateful. You know, sometimes I don't agree with Dana White, but I agree with Dana White on the Tito situation. Like, just shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
dude, you're making money now. You know, I can't believe you still are fighting on pay-per-view, but hey, you know, you're a draw, so I guess that's, you manipulate your way into it. Like, and also, you know, not to bring up it, but Rampage, I don't know if you heard, like, even his post-fight, he's like, Bellator MMA, we taking over. It's just like, dude, just do your thing. You're not taking over anything.
Yeah, no, just freaking say, you know, that, hey, thanks Bjorn, thanks Bellator for the fight. We're gonna keep on giving you great fight cards. Keep tuning in and all that stuff. That's fine. Don't fucking like try to act like it's a war between UFC and Bellator, man. Like this is like fucking like ROH trying to call out WWE, dude. Like get the fuck out of here, y'all. Y'all ain't shit. Like World Series of Fighting, and let me just say something. World Series of Fighting, I enjoy more than fucking Bellator half the time.
Yeah, because they put on less shows and they put enough talent in their cards. Like Bellator, if they want, because they do this whole season thing, and it's just like every Friday they put on events. Like it's like nobody cares, man. Just you get like this event was so big. Like we're talking about it now because it was so big. It had like so many, well-known names. Like in a month from now, what the hell is Bellator gonna put on? Nothing.
Exactly. That's a great point. They're not going to put on anything because like the problem is also is Bellator. They have probably the worst advertising ever. Like Viacom, Spike TV in general. If you have a show on Spike TV, get the fuck off there because you're not going to succeed. Because Bellator, like my friend, he texted me. He was like at the bar. You know, he's in the army, so he was chilling out with some of his army friends. He's at the bar and he saw some fights on TV, and he's like, "Hey Chase, is this like a UFC replay?" Because he saw Tito Ortiz fighting, right? And I'm like, and you know how like the octagon looks in Bellator. It looks like an old UFC event. And I was like, no, dude, that's actually a new pay-per-view. This is Bellator. He's like, the fuck is Bellator? I'm like, it's a MMA promotion, you know? He's like, I've never heard of it. That's a problem. No one knows about your stupid company. No one does. Like the only people who know about Bellator are hardcore MMA fans. That's just the bottom line. No casuals know about Bellator.
Some pro wrestling fans, because obviously.
Yeah, so pro wrestling fans too, because of the
hardcore. I should say hardcore pro wrestling fans, because casual wrestling fans they barely even know what the hell TNA is.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much.
Hardcore wrestling fans.
Yeah, hardcore wrestling fans. Those are the only two people that really know your company. Like you gotta advertise that shit better because. Honestly, I'm surprised by the pay-per-view buys that they got. They got 65,000 buys off this.
Yeah, which I guess
that's surprising. That's a little bit surprising to me because I thought this.
Hey, good for them though. We might be bashing them, but hey, good for them.
Yeah, no, good for them. 65 pay-per-view buys, man. Shit, dude, we can't even get that shit. Me and Alllen can go out there and fight for like 12 minutes, and I'm pretty sure we would only get like 2 buys or some shit like that.
It's just, as much as we criticize Bellator, it's good to have competition because, like we're both pro wrestling fans. There's no competition.
Yeah. We have to either like the shit that WWE's like speeding us. That's pretty much it. At the end of the day, like no offense to TNA, you guys try, but hey, it is what it is. No offense to ROH, it is what it is. But with Bellator, one thing we can say is, like you said, the lightweight division is actually good in Bellator. They have really nice young talent in their their roster that can keep on growing and growing. I mean, hell, like look at guys like Hector Lombard. As much as people hate Ben Askren, I mean, fucking Ben Askren,
those are both welterweights, but I get it.
Yeah, you know, like they you know are fighters that came from Bellator that you know were successful for them, whether you like them or not. So in all honesty, Bellator has some talent and they can actually put on good fights. It's just some of the little shit that they do pisses me off because they're a company that could actually have somewhat potential to not be a threat to the UFC, but be a different option to the UFC. But they try too hard. They try to bash the UFC. It's like you don't need to. Just be
Beat
your thing.
Strike Force. What's wrong with beating Strike Force? Like, so I love Strike
I
Force.
love the Strike. Strike Force is one of my favorite promotions ever. Just because they never mentioned the UFC once. They went out to go help the UFC out sometimes. They would promote stuff with the UFC and stuff like that. They were nice all the time. They would talk about the MMA legends that were coming. That the shows were always fun to watch. I like Strike Force. Strike Force, there was nothing wrong with. That's one of my favorite. WEC as well. Before it got purchased by Zuffa, WEC was the same thing. I mean, those are great promotions to like take by example. If you're a young MMA promotion, be like Strike Force. Be like WEC. That's how you become interesting to us fans. Because man, like look at how much talent Strike Force produced for the UFC. Yes, they haven't done well, but Bigfoot, freaking Safadine.
I kind of would disagree. Look at that middleweight division. Look who's dominating. Like, look at the contenders: Jacare, Rockhold, and Kennedy. Those are all Strike Force guys. You know, you vary from division to division.
Yeah.
But I don't think Strike Force has been a flop necessarily.
No, I'm just saying some guys haven't been really that successful, but at least you know they DC's been really successful coming from Strikeforce, but at least they got guys, and they also got guys back that we never thought we would ever see again. I mean, Robbie Lawler, he came back. You know, they got Dan Henderson back because of Strikeforce. So you know, in all honesty, Strikeforce did a great job, and same with WEC. Like they produced so many champions for the UFC as well, and it's just like Bellator. It has that opinion, but it has that option. But the problem is, it's just like Dana wouldn't want to sign any of the guys because all the guys just bash. Like when like what was that one show where Ben Askren he called out GSP? Didn't he do that?
No, he did call GSP, but it wasn't like in a disrespectful manner. Well, what happened with Ben Askren is I think he just got tired of the negotiation was wrong, and then basically he just called Dana like a fat bald idiot or something, and it was all over from there. Like he just got sick of it, so it's unfortunate.
Is he going to be fighting at World Series of Fighting at least?
No, he's now with some promotion, and I don't know if it's Singapore or China. It's called ONE FC. I think he just wants to get paid now. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a crap.
Unfortunately, like he's boring as hell. But at the end of the day, look, I like to see, you know, like a Jake Ellenberger fight, just to see what he does against a top level wrestler. See if Askren could oppose his will, like he's done on practically everybody.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you said, even though he's a boring fighter, you still want to see, you know, the best go against the best, no matter what their competition level is at, you know, and who they face. You still want to see that, and I agree. Like I just feel bad for Ben Askren. It's just like Bellator just has so much potential. It's just that sometimes they just don't realize it. They just kind of get in their own way. They need to promote better. They need to stop with the little cheap shots. They need to stop acting like there's some professional wrestling show in the Attitude Era.
I can't stress enough. Less shows. Tournament format, I think, is dead. You only do a tournament format if, you know, like the Ben Askren situation. The welterweight title was
Vacated.
Vacated. There you go. And that's when you do a tournament because obviously you need a clear champion. So I just think the whole tournament format is dead. People are. I don't think the ratings are doing that bad. I think they like average like a 0.9, which is on a Friday night, which isn't necessarily bad.
Yeah, and especially on Spike TV. Like I said, Spike TV is a terrible fucking. Yeah. It's terrible, man. Like that's why, like sometimes when people like laugh at TNA's ratings, I go, "Yeah, you would get the same fucking ratings if you were on Spike TV." I defend TNA. TNA is garbage, but I defend them to some degree with Spike TV because Spike TV is a terrible network to be on. So, you know, it's just the thing. It's just like you said, less shows, man. Because like you can't keep up with all the action in Bellator, and you know you have to find shows where you can get like the depth of having like talent that people want to see. But not only that, build up the newer talent as well. Like, you know, like what the UFC does, like the opening fight, it's either like this new guy versus veteran or two new guys that are fresh in the division going at it. Then the second fight is like supposed to be like either the fight of the night or the most craziest fight or the fight that people are most excited for. Then the third fight is kind of like the same thing as the second fight, but it's against two like not top contenders, but middle of the road contenders that could face a top guy afterwards. And the co-main is like a freaking like big time fight. It could be either a title fight or it could be, you know, like two top guys going at it for a title fight at the end of the day, and then the main event's normally a title fight or, you know, whatever big name legend fight you want to put on.
Oh yeah. Before we go up to Bellator, if you remember, what did you score for Chandler Brooks?
I watched that fight like 3 different times. First time, I thought Michael Chandler won, but then the other 2 times I watched it, I felt Brooks won. Yeah, like I had to watch because like I'm a Michael Chandler fanboy. I'll just be straight up honest here. I'm a fucking fanboy for Michael Chandler. So like I think he wins every fight. So I was just like when he like this was supposed to be him versus who was he? Alvarez. I always forget his name. I wish he came to the UFC. Why did he have to stand? What? I wish he came to the UFC, man. He's wasting his talents in Bellator.
I wouldn't be surprised 2015 is the year finally. But yeah. I thought Chandler won. I think it scored at 48-47. I don't know the numbers exactly because I get confused. But basically, I just thought that 5th round was 10-8. I thought that was the seven. Like he rocked Brooks at one point. He almost got the choke, and just when you dominate somebody that badly, like I thought Brooks got a 10-8 round in the 3rd. Like I just wish judging wouldn't be so persistent on 10-9. Like,
yeah.
Look at the actual fight. Look, if someone's close to being stopped and they just dominate that entire round, like, look, it's a 10-8. That's what happens. It wasn't competitive at all. Why should this guy be justified an extra point? You know?
Yeah, no, I hope judging changes in MMA soon. I hate boxing judging in general, just because like I never liked the 10-9 system. I'm like, why even have the other numbers? Like, what's the point of having 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? No one's gonna get a 3. No one is ever gonna get a 3. Okay, no one's ever gonna. Okay, for people who are not boxing fans, this is what happens. 10 means you win the round. 9 means you lost that round. 8 means that you got knocked out. You got knocked down, so that's an 8. You get knocked down twice in a round, that's a 7. That's as low as you can go, because there's a 3 knockdown rule in boxing, and when you get knocked down for the 3rd time, that means the round is over if you stand up or the fight is over. It depends on who's promoting and all that other crap. So there's no way you're going to go down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just think they like having fancy numbers on there. It makes the fight feel more important. Oh, yeah, 50-47. Like, who cares? No. Just
so if you're Eddie Alvarez right now, because basically, all right, you know, common logic, because he's the interim world champ, Will Brooks would get the title fight, but according to Eddie Alvarez's contract, he could still face Michael Chandler. And it's once again so complicated, so unnecessary. Even though I felt Chandler won the fight, Will Brooks does deserve that fight, but Eddie Alvarez has the option. Now, who do you face, Will Brooks or Michael Chandler?
Well, since Will Brooks is the interim champion, I think that they should get the interim parts out of the way and just unify the belts. But then again, Brock Lesnar broke that rule with the UFC Heavyweight Championship as well. So I would say, let's see, it's Bellator. So I would say Bellator would want Alvarez versus Chandler 3 because that's really where your money's at. No offense to Will Brooks. I don't think anyone knows who the hell you are. I'm being dead honest here. Like, if you saw Alvarez versus Brooks, you're going to be like, who? Yeah, like Alvarez Chandler 3, at least Alvarez Chandler 1 and 2 were fights that people loved. So
I thought Chandler won 2, by the way. I thought he won 48-47. I thought he got robbed there. But Chandler, man, he's the new Frankie Edgar. He kind of gets robbed. Although Frankie, he didn't get robbed against Aldo. So
yeah. No, according to Frankie Edgar fans, Alllen, he got robbed. So you be quiet there, sir.
No, I know Frankie Edgar fans because I live in New York. I know Frankie Edgar fans that think he got robbed in both fights against Benson and Aldo. I'm like, look, he only got robbed the second fight. He lost Bendo in Japan. It was very close, but stop it. And Aldo beat him. Give me a break.
Yeah, no. You know what? Frankie Edgar fans are already complaining that he got robbed against BJ Penn in their 3rd fight. They're already complaining about that. BJ Penn at featherweight is hilarious to me. But, yeah, I think Bellator will go with Chandler 3. I think Alvarez would probably want to go with Chandler 3. And Will Brooks will probably just defend that interim belt. Mainly because for them, they just want to get eyeballs on their product. So you got to find the fights that people are interested in. Is Will Brooks a talented fighter? No doubt. But is he someone that will help you in the long run? Like, if he beats Alvarez, you're fucked. Because then Alvarez Chandler 3 is just for a non-title. And
this is Alvarez's last fight in his contract. I'm pretty sure he's gonna want to leave.
all right, so yeah, you have to do Alvarez Chandler 3.
Yeah. Although, hey, Eddie has an option. Like Eddie said, I think publicly that he thinks Will Brooks is the easier fight, and I honestly don't think he cares. I just think he wants to get to the UFC by now.
Yeah, he just wants to get to the UFC and be able to show his talents there because he's a really talented fighter.
I agree with you, though. I do think he should fight Chandler just because I think it would be a more competitive fight. And like I said, Will Brooks is talented. Hey, we could very well see Brooks Chandler too, and maybe 2015. But
now see, let's say if Alvarez beats Chandler in the third fight, right, and then later on the lightweight title gets vacated, does Will Brooks just become the lightweight champion, or does he have the interim lightweight belt as he fights Chandler for the second time for the lightweight belt? And then what if Chandler wins that fight? But
I did not work for that company.
Oh god, lightweight inception right there, man. I just broke the code.
And I like Eddie Alvarez a lot, but man, he really did screw up by getting hurt a week beforehand.
Yeah, no, he did.
Just these guys, sometimes you just have to tone them down. And that's the same thing that happened with Rashad. Not to call out the Black Stallions or anything, but this year we've had 2 high-profile fights get ruined by the Black Zillions.
Who was the other guy that got injured? I'm trying to remember.
It was Rashad Alvarez.
Oh, he's part of the Black Zillions, Alvarez?
Eddie Alvarez.
I thought you had to be black to be part of the Black Zillions.
I don't know. Then again, Matt Mitrione's part of the Black Zillions.
Oh, I thought the reason why they called themselves the Black Zillions because you have to be black.
Because I think Rashad and Vitor started up, so black and white. And then Alistar came around, your boy, but then he got kicked out.
No, I did not get kicked out. Actually, Alllen, what I did was I told them I was leaving. Yeah, I told them that it wasn't the right time for me to be fighting for them, and I went to the Greg Jackson, and eating horses.
I thought you went to Thailand first, Alistar.
I go to Thailand every weekend. It's beautiful down there. I hang out with Batman and Robin. I stop crime and shit.
Okay. All right. Last bit of news about Bellator before we go. So about Shlemenko, what do you do? What do you think should happen? Like, is he ruined because of this Tito fight? Like, what would you do with him now?
He is definitely hurt because he is your middleweight champion, and he's considered not by me, but in consensus, if you're a champion in some organization, you're considered a top 10 middleweight. So this does hurt him a lot because it's hard to really make you feel excited for the next Shlemenko fight, being like, oh, here's Shlemenko. This guy lost to Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz should be the middleweight champion at this point. That type of deal. So it's kind of really hard for me to really take him kind of seriously to face anyone else. And I feel also this fight right here could also have maybe crushed his confidence a little bit, that he may not be the same fighter that he was when he won the middleweight championship. I mean, here was a dominating guy for your middleweight division, someone that you could have built up hugely. And, with the middleweight division, the UFC as it is now, let's face it, don't get me wrong, Chris Weidman, I know you think people like to doubt you and everything, but you're not going to be a dominant middleweight champion. I'm sorry, dog. No offense to you, Lyoto Machida. You're just not that exciting. I mean, with Anderson Silva gone from the middleweight division, there's no longer that guy where you want to see lose or win just to see him fall or just to see him keep reigning this dominance. And Bellator had the great opportunity with Shlemenko. I mean, look at this guy. Fucking huge motherfucker for the middleweight division. Really nice wrestling. Has fought almost 60 times in his career. This guy had all the potential in the world to be your face of Bellator and just, dominate. And where people would say, oh yeah, the UFC middleweight champion is good, but he's not as good as Shlemenko. Now people are just going to say, LOL, Shlemenko lost to Tito.
Yeah, good point. I think with Shlemenko, he always brings his kid into the octagon after the fight. That always brings up a few cheers. So, he's the ultimate sweetheart right here.
Yeah, exactly. With Shlemenko, it's just he could have been like that one guy. When you watch the Strikeforce, the old Strikeforce days, when Gilbert Melendez was the lightweight champion, people would compare, oh, who's the better lightweight champion, Melendez or Edgar and all that other stuff. You can't do that now with Shlemenko because it's Weidman is by far the better middleweight champion than Shlemenko. I mean, Weidman, yes, First time he beat Anderson Silva, Silva was dicking around, but he beat him. Yes, the second time he beat Silva, Silva broke his leg, but he beat him. He beat the best fighter ever twice in a row.
I don't even think Shemenko would be like a CB Dalloway.
Yeah. CB Dalloway.
I don't know. I just feel like he's good at it. Just, oh man, what Bjorn was saying, top 3 middleweight, just head scratch. Anyway, let's transition. We'll talk about, there's 2 fight cards this week. We want to talk about the fights that are feature notable guys, because there's a lot of guys I did not watch Tough Brazil. I'm over it. And then the Germany card, there's a lot of guys that are just regional fighters. So basically just the main fights to do. And then just in general, we'll talk about, upcoming June fights that we're looking forward to.
Oh yeah, June fights are going to be awesome.
And so, okay, we got the Berlin card. You got our guys, like I mentioned, CB Dalloway is fighting Francis Cormon.
That fight's interesting.
Dalloway, I know he knocked out. Oh, who did he knock out last? He trains with Vitor. Muchanche? That's his name. Cesar Muchanche.
Oh, the little Vitor lookalike.
Yeah, little Vitor.
Little Vitor. He looks like Vitor.
Yeah, Cesar Muchanche. Another Black Zillions guy, by the way.
Well, yeah, of course. Train with Vitor.
I was impressed with CB knocked him out in like 40 seconds in Brazil, so he has momentum. But I don't know, CB, like, I always feel slaying with CB Dalloway. It's not necessarily his personality, but I always feel like slaying hinders him. Like, I don't know if it's like his lack of striking, although he did win by knockout, but he's somewhat of an underachiever. Like, he's got the wrestling pedigree, but you've seen that you can't always rely on that.
Yeah, and I actually like Francis Cormon. He impressed me in that Jacare fight. He impressed me a lot, because I was saying, Jacare is just going to spin kick. He's going to do something crazy. Jacare is just going to destroy this idiot. And so afterwards, when I saw him like actually push the pace and to take down Jacare, I was like, wow, this guy actually has improved a little bit. And of course, the only reason why I'm looking forward to this fight is GSP in the corner.
Come on, Francis. I can't do his voice.
Come on, Francis. Let's go. Take him down. Like, he's all excited and stuff, man. It's hilarious. But, yeah, no, Francis Cormon, he's just improved. That, like, even though he lost that Jacare fight, he impressed me in that fight. And I got to give him props. I just did not give him that much credit. And he looked good in the fight. Lost in a really close fight to Jacare. Honestly, Francis Cormon will win this fight. I don't see any way CB Dalloway has a knockout power. But from what I saw from Cormon is that guy has a fucking chin.
Cormon's athletic too, and he's so massive for 185. Like I don't rate Costa Philippou that high. I think Costa Philippou's a decent guy, but man, Francis just dominated him for 3 rounds. I think it was at 165.
Yeah.
And he just manhandled them. And what's funny about Cormon? I don't know if you noticed this. Like when he kicks, he screams. Like and Jacare, this guy's just like, oh. Body kick. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? But hey. He's a top 10 middleweight right now, and I don't think anyone's going to argue that. Look, people can rip on the UFC rankings all they want, but Cormon, he's pretty solid, and yeah, I do like him against Dalloway. Just on speed and just power. I think it's probably going to go to decision because both guys are kind of grinders. But...
Oh, yeah, it's going to go to a decision. If anything, this fight won't wow you. It won't be the most intriguing fight in the world, but...
For a fight card though, as a co-main event,
yeah, it's not bad. It's worth the $9.99 actually.
Main event now we got Filipino Wreck Machine Mark Munoz against the Dreamcatcher. He got Musasi.
Is that his new nickname?
Is his nickname the Green Dreamcatcher?
Oh my god, I did not know that. I just call him Gay Hard.
Gay Hard.
Gay Hard Musasi.
Yeah, it is. They either call him the Armenian Assassin or the Dreamcatcher. I was right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Mark Munoz, like, his last fight against Machida, I felt so bad for him.
He had no idea what was going on. That's his buddy. He's just like, what am I doing here? I'm in England. I was supposed to fight Bisping, and based on what Tim Kenny did, I think Munoz would have beat Bisping based on just pure wrestling. But, yeah, he was lost. And then Musasi, he gave it a nice go against Machida, but he was outclassed as well. Both guys are kind of like at a crossroads right now because Musasi just... he's one of those guys from Strikeforce that just kind of like Saffordine that just he hasn't done a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he hasn't done a lot. He's a former Strikeforce champion. I think light heavyweight. He lost to King Mo. That's the one thing about Gegard is like that's how he lost to King Mo was that he got taken down and was beaten on. And so I would lean more towards Mark Munoz in this fight just because Munoz has more of the has really great wrestling, in my personal opinion. He's not the most exciting fighter in the world, but he has really great wrestling. I feel like the only way, like Gegard needs to watch that Chris Weidman fight, because that's the way you can stop, Mark Munoz. Like, try to find a way to counteract when he's trying to take you down. Because other than that, man, Gegard could be in trouble in this one, because I haven't seen any improvement in his takedown defense.
Yeah, another thing with Mark that's different from King was, I think Mark Munoz is much more explosive. I'm not sure about athletic, he's swear, but I know he's very explosive. Like, you look at the Tim Boetsch fight, like, he was just flying around. I know Tim Boetsch is very slow, like, man, it's a bad comparison, but I've always felt Munoz was somewhat underrated when he's, in shape. Like, that wide fight, he just looked awful, and he really was in shape. But Munoz, he's had a long layoff. I think he's dedicated now. I always feel for the guy based on the 80-pound weight loss that, he went through last year. So deep down, Mark Munoz, I always had to appreciate what he's done. But I think this is just a horrible matchup for Mousasi. And Munoz is a smart guy. He's not like one of these wrestlers like a Ryan Bader or Josh Koscheck where he's going to look to just, get that one-punch knockout barrier. He knows, I'm not going to mess with this kickboxer. I'm just going to grind him out. And Munoz does have nasty ground pound, so maybe I can finish him on the ground.
Yeah, and one thing for sure is that Gegard Mousasi's pace, it won't change during the whole fight. The only time I've seen Gegard really change his pace when he was facing Machida, because he was literally pissed off. He was like, "Can you stand the fuck still? Because I cannot, so I can hit you." He was pissed off during that Machida fight. But yeah, Gegard was really, frustrated during that fight, and I feel like he's gonna have somewhat of a frustration facing Munoz.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I feel like Munoz in that fight, although, you can't count Mousasi, but it's just, like I said, like you said, baseline is, you haven't seen much improvement in his takedown defense, and that's huge against Munoz. Munoz is one of the top wrestlers, and it's not like Mousasi, like, yes, he's a good kickboxer, but I notice he's not very explosive. He tends to be too patient.
Yeah, he's like really, really patient. Like, he tries to find the right opportune time. Like, Mousasi's perfect opponent would be like a Jacare, because Jacare is almost the same way. Jacare, he can get explosive. Like, he can just go fast. But the thing about it is like, he would rather face a Jacare who won't take you down, who will bang with you, than face, Mark Munoz, who will set up a takedown and take you down and grind it out for the rest of the fight.
What else on this card? A few other names. Luke Barnett's fighting. He's like this up-and-comer from England. He's fighting this guy, Sean Strickland. Who knows what happens? And Andy Oval versus Maximo Blanco. That could be like a loser leaves town. Two exciting guys. So it's not bad. Like I said, it's not bad fight pass card. I have work Saturday. Like, hopefully we'll be home for the main event, but whatever, Just some of these, it's during the day. Sometimes it's hard to catch these cards.
Is Fight Pass on like the Xbox and whatnot, or is it just desktop?
I think it's on the Xbox. But
okay. I have to update my UFC app then, because I have the Fight Pass, but I always watch it on my desktop, and I just rather watch it on a bigger screen. That's the thing, because like, for some reason, both the WWF Network, Fight Pass, and Netflix.
WWF. What the hell?
WWE Network. I call it WWF Network because I watch more WWF stuff than I do WWE.
99% of people agree.
Yeah, so and Netflix, for some reason, on my Google Chrome, they don't work.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So I have to go to Internet Explorer. Yeah, it's terrible. So I don't complain, because none of the streams have messed up bad, and I gotta give credit to the UFC. When I first heard about this Fight Pass thing, I was like, oh man, I wonder how the streams are going to be for the cards and stuff like that. And they turned out really well, no problems whatsoever. So I gotta give credit to the UFC there. I just wish some fights were not on Fight Pass, man. Like, I'm like, oh, come on, really? Why is this card on Fight Pass? It should be on Fox.
Big rumors that the September card, going back to Japan, rumors it's going to be Roy Nelson, Mark Hunt, and that's going on Fight Pass. It's like, oh, it's such a good fight.
Yeah, why is that on Fight Pass? Is it going to be on UFC? What about Fox Sports 1? I thought you had a great deal with Fox Sports.
Yeah, I hope it's on Fox Sports. Who knows if that fight even happens, but it'll be cool. But anyway, let's go to Brazil card, which is Saturday night, Ultimate Fighter Brazil. We're not going to go over those fights. It's just, there's two fights I know. I don't know this guy's name. His name's Alexander Yakovlev. He's replacing Mike Pierce in fighting Damian Maia. Yakovlev I think he beat Paul Daly a few months ago, and like, apparently Paul Daly's like their gatekeeper now, so if you beat Paul Daly in the UFC. So he's fighting Damian Maia in Brazil. Maia, it's kind of a pretty inspirational performance against Roy McDonald, where he just Man, he really took it to him that first round. So I like Maiev since I don't know anything about Yakuza, but I just
Yeah, I don't know really much about Yakovlev. Maybe I should watch that Paul Daly fight. They fought at Legend or whatever it's called. I just looked it up. So
yeah, I think that's the one. I think Krokop headlined that card. Unfortunately, he got kind of murdered. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, main event is Stipe Miocic, Fabio Maldonado.
Originally supposed to be Junior Dos Santos versus Stipe Miocic, which I was gonna be really excited for because that was like gonna be a big fight for Miocic, and I was looking forward to seeing how JDS would rebound after getting his ass kicked by Kane. And I want.
Well, remember originally actually it was supposed to be Chael Vanderlei on this card, but then of course they had that stupid fight and it just ruined everything.
No, this is what happened. Dana White was all like, "Listen, motherfuckers, we want you on the 4th of fucking July card. So guess what? Put a fight on the fucking show so we can get you on the fucking card. USA." That's the only reason why they moved this card, because they were like, "Nope, we're not going to put Chael versus Wanderlei on free TV. No, we're going to make you pay for that shit." They're not putting that on free TV. Are you kidding me? Fuck that.
Yeah, good point. They like following sports, but then they want to do their big superstar card on 4th of July.
So is Fox Sports 1? Are they going to show the episodes leading up, like, because you didn't have Field TV, but what Field TV did, Allyn, was they showed the actual original season of Tough Brazil and like subtitles and shit like that leading up to this card.
I think they're gonna do that because I think they're really committed to Fight Pass and making people pay to see it. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's my question, because that's what I appreciated. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna watch this Ultimate Fighter Brazil card because I honestly don't really care about it that much, because I can't see the episodes of the Ultimate Fighter. And then all of a sudden, I saw it on Field TV, and I swear, man, they need to separate these Ultimate Fighters, man. Like, I was so confused when Ultimate Fighters Nations was on. I was like, what? Nations, huh? That's on TV?
I really had no idea what was going on. Like, it was cool Poirier was on the card, and Patrick Cote's kind of exciting. Obviously, I think this big Kennedy, but also Sam Stout, KJ Newman, man, that ended crazy. But other than that, like, that card was just shrug your shoulders. But one thing that's interesting about this card, the Ultimate Fighter Brazil this season actually had heavyweights, and heavyweight division is so depleted. And I am a sucker for heavyweight fights, so
yeah, me too.
I'm kind of looking forward to there's a heavyweight fight between guy. It's like the final. It's like this guy's name is Vitor Miranda, cool name, against Antonio Carlos Jr. I like to see if they have potential. Could use some Brazilians, so we'll see about that.
Yeah,
see, main event, you got Stipe, right?
Yeah, you got Stipe versus Fabio Milando. What is this guy? I'm trying to remember what his last fight was.
He barely beat John Vellante.
Oh God.
And he's most infamously known for being like decent boxer, but like he's just a brawler. Like he kind of reminds me of Joey Beltran a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, okay. This is where the guy reminds me of. He fought Glover, right?
Yeah, Glover. Glover hit him like 90 times.
Yeah, that's where this guy reminds. Why is he fighting at heavyweight?
They're desperate because obviously Junior got hurt. Fabricio's fighting Kane. Bigfoot suspended. They have no Brazilians. Big Nog's in a hospital still. Bad joke, but you know what I mean. Big Nog is he's in rough shape. Right? They had no Brazilians, and
they needed a Brazilian to be a headline of this card.
Yeah, to sell tickets, and Malnau is kind of popular, I guess, but yeah, they're in a rough shape here. This is bad, but the goal here, I guess, for Stipe is win this fight definitively, and hopefully get that fight with Junior sometime in maybe like August or something.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that fight, like I said, because it was just Stipe. He came off that huge, to most people, upset win over Roy Nelson. And, you're going to see, is this guy really a true deal for the UFC in their heavyweight division? Let's put him against a former UFC heavyweight champion and arguably a top contender at this point, Junior Dos Santos. Let's see what he can do against Sagano. And, let's see if he can make the upset happen. But now it's just like his career could get hurt if he loses somehow to Fabio Milando.
Yeah.
Maldonado.
That will also tell you about the heavyweight division, because I think he's ranked 7. Because remember, he beat Gonzaga. That's why Gonzaga couldn't be one of the replacement guys. So, this is a guy who has potential. He's one of the few young guys in the heavyweight division. Like, if he loses, that's just like That's pretty detrimental. Just saying how rough shape heavyweight division is.
Yeah, no, totally agree, man. Totally agree. I'm rooting for Stipe in this fight because I'm sorry, man. Malanda, he like that. I just remember that Glover fight. He just got his eye looked all fucked up and shit. That's the only thing I can remember from that.
It doesn't like he has any like quality wins. Like, he beat Beltran, he beat John Vellante. It's like these guys are just middle of the road guys. It's just whatever. But you want to talk about some cool June fights?
Yes, June fights. Yes, like
This
Benson
is a
Henderson.
really interesting card. It's in Albuquerque. It's June 7th, a fight night. It's actually really good card for a fight night. Like, check this out. We got Eric Perez against Brian Caraway. I love watching Goyoto fight. He's super exciting. And you have Brian Caraway. He's top 5 heel in MMA.
Yes.
So that's a cool fight. You have Yves Edwards against Pitora Hallman, who, all right, that's one fight, just again, whatever. But then check this out. Rafael Dos Anjos coming off getting dominated by Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's fighting Jason Hyde. That's a pretty cool fight.
That's a fun fight to watch.
Next, we got also John Dodson versus John Moraga. That's a pretty awesome fight.
Yep. 2 flyweights going at it.
Who doesn't love John Dodson's craziness?
And his smile.
This is the main event. This is pretty crazy. You have Diego Sanchez against Ross Pearson. That's only a co-main event. That's pretty awesome.
That's a good co-main event. Then the main event, Benson versus Kibilov.
Usman Khabilov at no K.
Yeah.
No K. Go with the action.
Khabilov.
Yeah, this is a fun.
Khabilov is that guy with the wig, right?
No, it's Khabib.
Oh, Khabib. Okay, I always get the mixed up.
He's crazy with the suplexes. Like, I think he knocked out the guy who just lost to Jim Miller, Yancy Medeiros. Like, he knocked out Yancy Medeiros through like German suplexes.
Oh shit! So that's a good fight because Benson's really good with the takedown. So this could really see what Khabilov is all about.
But then Josh Thompson out grappled him. Like, if Josh Thompson had his way with Benson,
Yeah, that's true. Because that I swear, I think Thompson won that fight.
Oh, everyone thought it. That's another fight. Just like, huh?
Do you think Dana White's a dick writer for Benson Henderson?
Oh man, I feel Benson's such a nice guy. Like, he's not like, it's not like a King Mo situation. Like, Mo gets himself in trouble. There's a lot of people that can't stand King Mo. Benson, he's just a laid back guy, So
I don't know. Benson got in trouble with the fans when he proposed to his wife.
No, yeah, well, dude, that was in San Jose, man. Gilbert's a legend. You put Gilbert in the Shark Tank, where the hell that arena is called. He's getting adored. But this is an interesting main event. I just, Usman, this is a huge step up in competition. He's going from, I think, Masvidal to Benson Henderson. I like Masvidal, but he's not a elite guy. Like, I consider Benson really one of the top guys. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting this fight to totally go to the decision, but it's exciting 5 rounds. What the hell? And plus, we got Diego versus Ross Pearson. That's your fireworks fight.
Yeah, dude. Diego Sanchez doesn't fight for the first 2 rounds, but for whatever reason, the 3rd round is like a saving grace.
And it'll be interesting because Diego, he takes a lot of punishment. Ross Pearson, that guy has serious knockout power. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. It's cool that Albuquerque's getting an event. Greg Jackson came, and they focused the 3 main fights on Jackson guys. Khabilov trains there, Diego trains there, and I think Dawson trains there. Let me check.
Yeah, I think Dawson does train at Jackson's now.
Yeah, he does. Because I know Moraga, he's like a Seattle guy or something. I think he does like rain or whatever. But
because that was the reason why he fought Demetrius in Seattle, was because both of them were Seattle guys.
Yeah, I think so. That was the case.
Yeah, because they were both Seattle guys. So it was like, 2 Washington natives going at it. It's like, okay, cool. Demetrius won.
We're not doing our predictions now. Eventually, when the event gets
that event looks really, really damn good. I'm really excited to see what Benson Henderson does after that. His last performance was against Thompson, right? Was that controversial win?
It was very lackluster. It was, yeah.
Yeah, so interested to see what he does there. I'm also interested to see how Diego Sanchez bounce back, and as well with Ross Pearson. I haven't seen much Ross Pearson lately. He's been on some undercards, but sometimes it's hard for me to catch the undercards.
He was supposed to fight Melvin, but he got hurt. Gillard.
He was supposed to fight Melvin Gillard?
Yeah, they were going to do a rematch because the first fight ended controversially, and then he got hurt. That's why I think Michael Johnson had to fight Melvin, and then Melvin got cut.
Yeah, Dodson versus Morga. I mean, that's two former number one contenders in the flyweight division going at it, and most likely the winner will face Demetrius again.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that hurts the flyweight division is that it's not super stacked. But hey, what can you do? Dos Anjos versus Jason Hyde. That's an interesting fight. Brian Caraway, like you said, number 5 heel in MMA. So I'm looking for like Eve Edwards versus Piotr Hallman is like kind of like the only fight where I'm like, eh. But this is like a really stacked,
This is a fight night. This isn't Fox. This is just a regular fight night.
This is not like because like I figured this would be a Fox card, not just a fight night card. You have like 7 really top notch fights that you can watch. So, and the prelims not that bad. I mean, you got
Sergio's there right now.
Yeah, you got Anthony Pettis' little brother in there. So then you got Bobby Volker versus Lance Bienis. So that could be a decent fight.
Let's look through 174 a little bit. This is happening in Vancouver, which is cool. Vancouver's the end event, although it's not a particularly strong card. We'll just not do predictions, but
we'll just talk about what fights. Obviously the main fight where all the Canadians are going to be cheering for is going to be Rory McDonald versus Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley.
Is it a bad matchup for McDonald?
Nah, I think it's an even matchup.
It is okay. It's like a weird match because I feel like Rory could control it with his reach, but Woodley's so damn explosive and he's fearless. He's not like Ellenberger. But then again, we haven't seen Woodley against a top tier competition like Condit was. But
yeah, Condit was, but Condit got hurt, so we didn't know what could have went down. And even though Woodley did win the first round, it was like, whoa, what would have happened in like the last 2 rounds? Would Condit have gotten the upper hand there?
Yeah, because Woodley's notorious for cardio issues. I remember when he fought Mark Hart.
Oh God, he was just getting his ass kicked in the 3rd round by Mark Hart. It was sad to watch.
This is only a 3-round fight though.
So. Yeah, so it could be in Woodley's favor against Rory Mack. Rory Mack is known for losing split decisions, so when the time comes, I might predict a split decision there. Fei Zhao, Jacare's friend, he's fighting Darth Bader.
I just feel like Fei Zhao, he hasn't been active and he looked horrible against Thiago Silva. I remember that fight. That was his debut in the UFC. Oh my God, he looked flabby. I don't know. Like I know people say Bader's underachieved, but Bader's this wrestler that he doesn't mind throwing these just power punches. Like he just doesn't care. He'll throw those hooks, and he doesn't get sell. I think it's a bad matchup for Bader.
Yeah, no. And the thing about Bader is like he's one of those guys that haven't realized. Look, Bader, wrestling got you to the dance. Fucking work on that more. You're not a power striker. Calm down. Like that's the problem with Ryan Bader. Is like he found like a missing identity. It's kind of like in the NBA where it's like you have like this really athletic like player that could be a great superstar, but he falls in love with the 3-point shot. Like a Tim Thomas. Do you remember good old Tim Thomas? Tim Thomas, like really athletic, really fucking good, had that great season with Milwaukee, but all of a sudden he fell in love with that 3-point shot where it's like, dude, you're athletic as fuck, dude. Just go to the paint, you will dominate and stuff like that. But you fell in love with that 3-point shot. That's with Ryan Bader. I mean, he has like really good wrestling, but he knows that hey, I have to get knockouts to be successful in the UFC. But dog, man, just do the thing that got you to the dance, man. That's the only way you're going to be really successful.
Rampage. He just out-wrestled. He wasn't going to mess with Rampage on the feet. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you just got to out-wrestle him. It may not be the most exciting, but hey, man, sooner or later you might be able to John Fitch your way to a title shot.
There you go. So that interesting heavyweight fight, Andrei Arlovsky.
When I saw Andrei Arlovsky, I marked the fuck out. I was so excited. I cannot wait to see Andrei Arlovsky just run straight at Brendan Schaub.
Oh man, this is like it's funny. Like people make it jokes. It's like the worst chins going at each other. And Bader's chin's not much better. That's why I give Fei Zhao a chance. By the way, Bader, he's been KO'd quite a bit. But Arlovsky, Schaub, I just don't know how much Arlovsky has left. I have a feeling Schaub's just gonna like take him down and just kind of like what Schaub did to LeVar Johnson. But the thing is, Arlovsky isn't massive like LeVar Johnson. So.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for this fight. Like,
I'm a sucker for heavyweight fights, so that's why I'm
the fact that Andrei Arlovsky's back in the UFC is a markout moment for me. just seeing his name, man, I'm like Andrei Arlovsky. Oh,
We loved our Arlovsky that much because he hasn't been in the spotlight. We haven't really talked about him.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the great legend that is Andrei Arlovsky, man. Andrei Arlovsky has some really great heavyweight moments, man, in the UFC. He's a former champion. People forget about this.
I just love how Schaub fights all these old guys. He fought Gonzaga, he beat him. He didn't destroy. Like the knockout was crazy, but that Kurokov fight was competitive. He got annihilated by Nogueira. Like he fights all these old guys.
Yeah, for all you people with Fight Pass, you can go watch the classic Arlovsky versus Sylvia trilogy. I mean,
Oh god.
hey, those were some decent fights. I mean, both like Arlovsky won the first fight via submission.
Whenever somebody mentions Tim Sylvia,
Oh yeah, Tim Sylvia, man, that guy needs to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. Book it, Dana. Come on.
There's a story. I forgot who said it. Was it Pat Miltich? But like when Sylvia was champion, like he was eating nachos in the crowd at like a fight night event, and like he spilled the nacho cheese on like his UFC belt, and just people were shaking their heads like, "This is our champion."
No, I remember before the Randy Couture fight, you know, like the UFC countdowns. That's when UFC countdowns started to get big. So they showed Tim Sylvia for UFC countdown, and he went to the grocery store and he had his UFC heavyweight championship, and he's like, "I'm the UFC heavyweight champion, Tim Sylvia. Do you know who I am?"
Do you know who I am?
It was like the funniest, you know, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's a psychopath. Like, I was rooting for Randy to win that fight, just because it was Randy, but it was just hilarious, like, just seeing Tim Sylvia walk around in that grocery store, and he's like, I want people to know who the hell I am. I'm the best damn fighter in the world, and stuff like that. So, give Tim Sylvia props, man. Even though he's fat now, and he's fucking driving his little mini scooter around, give him props.
Other final card, we got Ryan Jimmo's back. His hometown is facing OSP.
No, he has not earned that nickname. It's Ovens St. Croix.
Ovens St. Croix, I guess that's how you say his name.
It's not OSP yet.
I guess it's a kind of a cool fight. I don't know. Jimmo, he's so hit or miss. One fight, you know, he has a cool knockout. Next fight, he's holding a guy out for dear life against the cage. I guess this is a cool opening fight, whatever. It's two guys, you know. OSP, I don't know how to judge this guy because, man, he fought, what's his name, Nikita Krylov, and that guy's just awful.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with St. Preux when I saw him, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He's still young or whatever, who knows. But, you know, we didn't talk about the main event, though. We got Demetrius Johnson versus Allay Bagutinov.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this is going to be hit or miss because, you know, the flyweights, they've been... I'm glad the flyweights are getting some love in their main event pay-per-view, but I think this is going to be hit or miss.
Yeah, I heard the Vancouver, because the site I write for MMA Sucker, they all live in Vancouver, so they're all covering the event. They said ticket sales are not going very well. And remember, this is only the third time a pay-per-view has gone to that area, and those two pay-per-views that were there, Chuck Liddell versus Rich Franklin and Shane Carwin, Julio Dos Santos. Yeah. Those are two pretty massive events, and now you're bringing just like a flyweight fight over there, just like...
Yeah, I mean, I like Rory Mack, yeah, he's going to get some people to go, but, like... No offense to Johnson, but like, does anyone know who the fuck Ali Boganatov is? That's just a casual. Like, us hardcore fans know who he is. We think that he could bring a good matchup to Johnson, but just these casuals. Like, if you're some Canadian that UFC barely goes here, you expect the UFC to give you like the fucking nines. You know, like you said, they gave us Liddell and Franklin and Dos Santos and Carwin, which are both two really good main events. Like, if you think about it, like, you know, Franklin had that awesome knockout where he broke his hand on Chuck Liddell.
Krokop was on that card too. Krokop had Barry, which is a funky fight.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, you gave us they gave you so many good events, and now you get this card, and it's just like, you know, besides maybe Andrei Arlovsky coming back to the UFC and Rory Mack versus Woodley, it's like, I don't know, the flyweight title, I don't think it will do that
Jimmo's
well.
Canadian. I don't know if they really love Jimmo.
Yeah, I don't think they love Jimmo. Like, Rory Mack is going to get the biggest, like, reception of the night for sure.
Yeah. Much to your disgrace.
Yeah, freaking Aries will come out, be boring, wearing his stupid-ass glasses. Like, take those off, you dumbass. And then he will go in, and we will have to see a stupid back knee, and he'll be like, ooh, praise me, and then the fans will cheer. And then Tyron Woodley will come down to turn down for what? No, he will.
When Rory Mack, that's what I don't call him Aries, I just call him Rory Mack. When that dude came out to Rihanna when he fought Robbie Lawler, I wanted to leave the room. I was just so mad.
Wait, which song did he come to? Diamonds?
No, the We Fell in Love in a Hopeless Place.
Oh, like, what? Okay, if you choose
That's entrance song.
okay, if you choose Diamonds in the Sky, okay, sure, why not? That's cool. That's a pass.
But falling in love in a
Yeah,
hopeless, it's like
God, that's not a fight. That doesn't like God, that's worse than when freaking Misha Tate came out to that Katy Perry song and she was
well,
singing
she's
it.
a
All the,
girl, so any
yeah,
female fighter, I'll just give a pass on French team. I don't care, whatever. You know, you want to come out to like she came out to Kesha, I heard, against Liz Carmouche. That's horrendous, but where I'm not gonna judge you, but like
she came out to Timber, the playoff edition. Playoff, dude. Step back, Jay. Playoffs.
come on, man, like get together. It's like look, I don't look, entrance teams or whatever. Just
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they'll like pick something manly, like God,
Yeah. Pick something that would be cool. Like, I think the two entrance teams that will never be topped, and it's just because of the moments where fucking hey, I'm drawing a blank. Who did Jose Aldo fight? And the guy came back to Coming Home, and everyone like fucking freaked. Yeah, Dominic, that shit. I was watching that entrance again, and I was like, because I was watching 148 again, and when I'm Coming Home hits. And he showed a flag, and they show Hamid come out. Like tears came to my. Just talking about it, I have tears in my eyes. It was beautiful. Or
that fifth round, man.
Yeah, or when Randy came back, it's like Back in Black. It was so sick. He came out to that song. It was cheesy as fuck, but just to see Randy Couture come out to that, and like, cause like it was like a laugh, Back in Black. I was like, oh my god, that's so sick. Like, you got to think of something, man. I swear, if Tyrone Woodley does come out to turn down for what, I'm gonna be pissed off. I hate that song so much.
Last thing before we end it, what is your favorite MMA? Like, let's do like top three your favorite like MMA like fighters entrance teams. Their entrances in general.
Okay, so number 3.
You don't have to rank them. Like I don't have to rank this. I know guys like this really.
Obviously Anderson Silva, Ain't No Sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Broom, broom, broom. Only darkness every day. Like I fucking have that DMX song, man. That's when you know Silva's fighting, dude. It's just like
Tommy Toll should do a DMX Anderson Silva conversation. I don't know how he hasn't done that. I love you, Tommy Toll, but yeah.
No, I love that Anderson Silva as a cop, so that's one of my favorites. You want shit in your room? Hey guys, he wants shit in his room. I love it so much. Do you have a belt, sir? Oh, well, what's the matter? Just asking if you had your belts. You're not the champion, Chris. I love that so much.
So, well, what are the other two?
I always liked Matt Hughes' theme. I forgot, it's like a country song, but I liked it because it fit Hughes a lot. And when you saw Matt Hughes came out, it was just like, oh, you could definitely feel the passion. I'm not going to choose Coming Home because everyone uses fucking Coming Home for whatever reason.
John Jones.
Yeah, I don't know why he does it for New Jersey. I'm trying to think of. I forgot what the rap song. No, it's called Dirty Hoss. GSP used it in his early career. It was like a French rap song, but it was just like such a good rap song. And like I remember that was like his best one. Like when he would come out like Dirty Hoss, da da, and then he would be all like pumped up. And this is when GSP was fun to watch. So it brings back the good memories of GSP that I have, not the ones where he would just lay and prey on people and do nothing. But that's probably one of my favorite. Those would be my 3 favorites. Like Matt Hamill's teams, I can't remember. Ain't No Sunshine and Dirty Hoss. And to spell Dirty Hoss, it's Dirty and Haus.
Okay, so my quick favorites. Number 1, I just so intense. I'm not a big hardcore metal fan, but just Josh Barnett's entrance theme. God,
yes.
Guys, that guy symbolized a badness. Like if he didn't get caught with roids, like that guy would be like my hero. Like it just. But Josh Brown that's such a badass theme. Like he just comes out. Like, when he fought Travis Brown, granted he got destroyed, but like he just didn't take his eyes off him. And you just hear that drum. I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh, also another theme, Rashad Step Into a World. Well, KRS-One. That's a good one.
I'm trying to think top ones. I'm not picking Frank Mears. I am a Frank Mir fanboy, but no, like I love Amazing, but Frank he just walks. Like he doesn't do anything interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
Guys actually do something interesting. Like one of my top 3 favorites, even though the song's cheesy, Diego Sanchez, hands down. Like who's gonna mess with Diego Sanchez?
Yeah, exactly. He should just come out to Daniel Bryan's team.
I don't know. Vince might get angry.
No, Vince doesn't own Flight of the Valkyries.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's just that's a song anyone can use.
Whoa, I just got breaking news. Hold on.
Oh.
All right. What the hell? I just got a text.
Anderson Silva's back? Who?
I'm going to see if this is valid. Wow, it is valid. Arrow said, Vitor Belfort replaces Vanderlei. He's fighting Chael at 175.
Wait a minute. No. Vitor should go for the belts then. Damn it. Vitor. Chael ducking me, bro.
Yo, I'm tweeting this right now. Vanderlei has officially hit Lil Nog status.
Wait, so Vanderlei got injured again?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said his visa was not valid. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah. And then something about a rumor that Vitor has been trained with John Jones recently. I don't know.
Hey, they're best friends after that fight, Alllen. Come on. They respect each other.
Oh, man. Hey, it is a better fight. Because, look, we all knew Chael was going to beat Vanderlei. Now, Chael beat... Vitor's not even the co-main event, and he's on the card. Hey, it's a better fight.
But that's dumb, though. But Dana said that, like, oh, if Vitor got his shit together in time, he could probably replace Machida. No, I feel bad for Vitor now. God damn it. Oh, son of a bitch.
And Vanderlei, he was just at that pre-fight press conference they did on Friday. And, like, him and Chael had a stare down. And I was just like, what the...
Oh God, I cannot wait to watch. Oh, I hope when Vitor wins, and I hope Weidman retains. Now I'm rooting for Weidman to retain against Machida. That would be so funny if Vitor stands up during the press conference, be like, "I fight you, you fight me. Let's do this." And then Chris goes, "Cool, bro." Like he just says, "Cool." That's another funny moment when Vitor's like, "It's an honor to fight you, and I will beat you." And then he's like, "Cool, bro."
Well, there we go, people. We're breaking on news. So there you go.
Vitor Belfort versus Chael Sonnen.
I'm like, is this legit? Let me go on Arrow's account. And the funny thing is, UFC tonight's at 8 o'clock tonight, and, you know, Chael's the guy, so shit's being interesting, man.
Only on Fox Sports 1. Or is it Fox Sports 2?
And the fight will take place at 2:05, because Chael does not like cutting down anymore, so.
Vitor's ready. He doesn't give a shit. He's off the TRTs.
He fought Dan at 2:05.
Yeah. That Henderson fight was crazy. I remember when he fucking hit the spin kick. Just spam spin kicks, bro.
Yeah. Oh, last thing. This is kind of interesting. Like, Ariel says this kind of reminds him of when Nick Diaz fought BJ Penn. Because remember that 137 card? Nick Diaz was to fight GSP, but he stopped showing up. He wasn't showing up to press conferences, and then Condit took his place, but then Condit, I think, got hurt. And then Nick Diaz ended up headlining with BJ Penn. Just this whole big clusterfuck. And this is just another big clusterfuck. What a mess. But Vanderlei, dude, I hope Vanderlei retires. I'm so done with that.
Yeah, me too. I'm done with Vanderlei. I mean, but just knowing that Vitor was going to fight Chael, and especially because that's a fight that, you know, that has bad beef to it. That was a fight that was supposed to happen, right? But it never did.
What?
Vitor and Chael. Wasn't Vitor and Chael supposed to happen at one point, but it never did?
That was never, what's it called? That was never, like, supposed to, like, it was never finalized, but there's been rumors.
Yeah, no, but Chael and Vitor have had beef with each other, calling each other out and stuff, so it makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy for them annoyed. It's just, Vanderlei, just go away.
Maybe Vanderlei Silva will be healed in time, and then we can get Vanderlei versus Rashad or something.
No, Vanderlei fight Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold would beat you. Luke Rockhold. I think he's a stud. I want Luke Rockhold just to beat people. Forget this shit. But anyway, that's the podcast. What we call this podcast? What do we call this?
It's pretty much like a podcast show with pictures that you can watch on the YouTubes.
Nice. That's awesome. So maybe we'll be back next week, or at least a week. 2 weeks from now, we're definitely going to do this more frequently. Right?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about UFC 174 most likely next week. See what Bellator is going to be doing at that time. Maybe look up some World Series of Fighting, since that's actually good. You can watch World Series of Fighting on NBC Sports Network, right? I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, NBC Sports Network. So.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about the whole July cards because that's for later. July is going to be a stacked month for the UFC, same with August. So we're looking forward to, you know, talking about those cards. Goddamn, July just looks sexy. Just like clicking through the Wikipedias of all all the cards in July and August. That summertime is when the UFC is fucking great, man, because like they always crazy shit always happens during the summertime, man.
Exactly.
Always the best fights.
You know, they have to keep people's attention. You know.
Yeah, no, I think summertime is like the best time also because like, you know, you get to barbecue, you have people over, people are coming home from schools, military people are coming home. So, you know, it's a great time to, you know, watch fights. So thank you guys for listening to this podcast. Alllen and I will be back next week, 2 weeks from now. We will have to wait and see when we will do this again, but we definitely will, and we'll be covering most likely UFC 174 and talking about all the fights in July. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.
Peace.